Now 250,000. Now, but to get 275. High, but to get 275. 3. Now 300,000. Now 3 1/4. 325. High, but to get 3 1/4. But to get 325. Now half. Now but to get 300.
And good morning from Dallas, Texas, at Lincoln Center at the intersection of the LBJ Freeway and the North Dallas Tollway. Welcome to another episode of the Mike McGavel Jones Show. And today we have a good friend, a guest that I've been trying to get on this show for a long time. I've had the pleasure to know this gentleman for many years, and but really have gotten to know him better over the last 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. And I'd like to welcome to the show Henry Munoz.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here with you, Mike.
So you are considered by many, including myself, to be a Dallas music icon.
Well, that's what they call me. When you play that long, I guess you get that title. But.
Yeah, I added another piece to that. Dallas music icon and treasure.
Oh, my heavens.
I know.
I'm a treasure. Wow.
You're a treasure. Well, you know, you have a vast history of being here in Dallas, and I'm going to try to cover as much as I can. I don't know if I can cover it all, but how does that make you feel? And I know I just had one of those benchmark birthdays. You just had a benchmark birthday, and I was proud to be there the night that we celebrated your birthday. You turned a young, spry
80
years old.
Yeah, November 30th.
November 30th. And of course, I had my 60th, and you came.
I came to yours,
and you sang Happy Birthday.
Sure, right there. Mm-hmm. Table side at Three Forks.
At Three Forks. And that's really where we've gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
And if we counted up the hours that I have sat listening to you.
A lot of hours. You're there all the time. You're there during the week. I go there during the week just to hang out, and there you are.
I know.
If you're not traveling, you're always traveling, or if not, you're at Three Forks.
Well, when you travel as much as I do, you kind of find it's like Cheers for me. It's a place to land. It is. So let's start at the beginning. I want to know. Tell me where you were born.
I was born in Dallas. I was born on Harry Hines in Dallas, in the old neighborhood called Little Mexico, right north of down. They call it Uptown now.
Yeah, changed a little bit.
Changed a little bit. Everything's buildings there, but I was born there in a family of 11.
11 kids.
Yeah.
What?
My parents came from Mexico, and they married here in the USA. And my daddy and my mama, we moved into several. We started at Cement City, which is up on Chalk Hill, and it used to be the Cement City of Dallas. And they had a community center there, a community of people, and they all worked there and lived there. You remember the old company store?
Oh yeah.
That's what that was. Finally left there. My daddy lost his eyesight there working at the cement plant. That's how he lost. My daddy was blind.
Oh, never knew that.
There was 5 of us he didn't see. Think about that, okay? I used to ask him, what were you thinking?
Wow.
And he would just wink at me. But it was crazy. But we moved from there to Caroline Street. I was born right where the American Airlines Center is. There was a street called Cottonwood. And right at the entrance, we were on that street. If you ever go to the American Airlines Center to watch a basketball or whatever,
sure,
that was where I was born, that street right there. And I could see across, and you could see El Phoenix on the other side because he was there, but on McKinney. And then we moved from there to Harry Hines right there in front of Pike Park right there.
Well, and of course, Harry Hines was quite a different street.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it was called Trini, Tierny, and then it became Harry Hines.
So what year were you actually born?
1938.
You were born in 38. So you've seen Dallas change.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yes, sir. I remember when I was little, my mama took me to the Magnolia, and I was scared to go up on I was scared of the Magnolia building. You know, the Magnolia building, like 20 stories.
Oh, yeah.
With a horse on top.
Oh, yeah.
You could go
Iconic.
upstairs. Well, you could go upstairs, and the horse would run. You'd go up to the tower right where the horse was, and I wouldn't go. I was scared. I wouldn't go. It was too tall, too high. I was scared of the elevator.
But there's a lot of people afraid of elevators.
Well, no, I'm not afraid of it now, but at the time when I was little, I didn't want to go that high because I saw it from outside, and that was the tallest building, and then came the Mercantile Building. And that's a lot of stories about those buildings and things for me when I was little, because we used to go in the summers and work up in the fields up in Indiana, picking tomatoes and cucumbers. Then we went to Michigan, picked cherries and apples. And I got a story about Michigan. We went to Chicago not too long ago for a vacation.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I rented a car and went to the old town where we went for 2 years in Hart, Michigan. And I looked for a tree where I put something on that tree. We nailed something real long, and it was gone. It was all leveled. The farm was gone. They sold it in the 70s. But I found the farm, I found the orchards, and I found the lake in Hart, Michigan, where we used to go in the whole thing. I took some pictures of it. But I had to do that. I had to go back because that's what.
Don't you love to do that?
I love it.
See, that's something I do. I'll think about something, and then 30 years later, I'll go back just to see if it's still there.
When I was 10 and 11, we used to go up there and pick cherries and apples all over the area, And up above us was Traverse City, which is the cherry capital of the world, in Michigan. But I said, you know what, if I ever go up north, I'm going to go look for that tree in Chicago. And we were in Chicago. I rented a car. See y'all later. Took off and went on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I found there was Hart. And I found the road. And I found the old cemetery. We used to go at night when we were up there. It was haunted. We used to go at night, walk about a quarter of a mile off the farm road.
Yeah.
Just a lot of memories, but I saw it all. It was there. It's changed, but the orchards were still there. They were co-op by the county, and they keep growing them and growing for centuries. And I said, these orchards have been here for 80 years, and they keep using them.
Yeah.
And I said, then that orchard's got to be there. So I went to the orchards where we used to pick, and I found it.
That's cool. That's cool. We actually have offices. Our rural brand, our country brand of real estate, we have offices in Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, right now I'm part of a listing on a property.
Oh, really?
That's on the river.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I've got to go up there and look at it.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I went to look at a lake, and I found the lake, and I found the rock we used to dive off. It's still there on that lake.
Wow.
Amazing.
70 years ago.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to Dallas.
Okay.
Tell me what Dallas was like as far as the town, the politics. What was
politics of Dallas in those days, we had, first of all, there was a lot of discrimination of Hispanics. They used to call us Spanish people. And we saw some discrimination on a couple of things. My daddy and I witnessed it downtown because I used to pull him around. I was 7.
Yeah.
And I was his eyes, and now we went everywhere. We were selling. Since I was 7, I've been in sales with him. But he taught me a lot about how to sell, taught me about how to see them coming, and he was blind. But he could see more vision than he had.
He had sense.
I don't know, but he had this vision about him that he could talk to you and he could read what you were, where you were coming from. And he taught me those things from a very early age, hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of problems with, we were poor. My mother worked in a restaurant. And my daddy and I would go sell. We'd all have chores to do or things to do, but we were very happy. We didn't know we were poor. We were rich.
I've told people that many times.
We were rich.
Yeah.
We were really rich. You don't know because of the love in the family, my mother, the way we were raised. And I had a ball with my daddy because he's the one that I would spend more time with. And I consider him the cause of my music. But in those days, we had a lot of discrimination. There was a movie later on that we need to discuss. I made it in the 90s called An American Story for Hallmark Hall of Fame.
Really?
I sang a song in the movie, and I researched the music for it. It was shot in McKinney, and it had Brad Johnson and several actors. It was a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie called An American Story, and I sang a song as a mariachi with a group for a Mexican wedding, and it was about World War II and this guy coming from the war, and landing in Texas in the 40s when there was a lot of discrimination and things going on, but his buddies were with it. So anyway, I sang the songs for his wedding, which was appropriate music in Mexico for weddings. I researched it, and I was playing at the Tino's in Collin Creek Mall, and this agent comes looking for mariachis from New York. I said, well, I got several, but we don't want 10 or 12. We just want maybe 4 guys. I said, well, I play the marimba. No, we don't want a marimba, but can you get the mariachi? So, yeah. So he said, well, can you audition tomorrow? I said, yeah. Well, I brought him 3 guys with me. And bingo, we got the part. And, it was pretty neat. But it was a thing. I also did, I was in a movie called Semi-Tough.
I remember Semi-Tough.
Well, I was in that movie on top of a roof playing with some guys. That was at South Fork.
Oh, really?
On the roof of South Fork.
I did
we
not
shot
know that. See, I never heard any of these stories.
I know you didn't. And I also did a movie at the Communication Center in Irving, on O'Connor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a documentary about Ellis Island.
Really?
And the same agent, I played the part of an Italian immigrant coming in he was a music teacher.
Really?
I was a professor of music coming. Well, I was a little, but I was 50 something, and they made it up where I was Italian coming into this country along with some other families. And it was a story about families.
Yeah.
And it was called Alice. It was something about Ellis Island, a documentary that they redid. And I did those 3. I done ton of commercials for airlines and things.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of jingles back in the jingle days when jingles were real hot here in Dallas. And I did so many. One time they interviewed my hands, just my hands. They took pictures of them.
Yeah.
And guys showed their hands. They picked mine. And
You're a hand model.
no, I was a hand model, and I was working in a printing company in those days. And my hands were full of ink and stuff, and they chose them.
That's what they were wanting?
They wanted the expression. I mean, they said, no, you got expressive hands. That's what
Yeah.
we want. So they had me doing, all my hands doing, it was for Taco Bueno.
No kidding.
Yeah. It was very, very interesting. But I've done a lot of things like that. But getting back to Dallas, we grew up in Little Mexico. I didn't start playing till I was about 14, sit down at the piano, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, I was playing professionally. By a year, I was self-taught. My daddy kind of guided me a little bit because he could do anything.
Yeah.
The man could drive a nail and keep his hand on it and not hit his fingers. I couldn't do it. All the kids, we were trying to teach us how to hammer. He taught us how to do a lot of things. It was an amazing time because we used to go around the neighborhood and we would sell publications. Then we'd go back and we'd sell this, and we'd go back and sell sweet bread from the bakery to the whole neighborhood. We had 3 routes.
Really?
Yeah. And we found some things downtown Dallas where we were rejected. No, you can't come in here. Not because we were soliciting, but we were Hispanic.
Really?
They call us Spanish. We don't allow Spanish people, and there were signs.
Really?
Do you know that at Sandy Lake Park on Harry Hines?
Yep.
We used to go swimming there, and they posted sign, no Spanish people allowed. They wouldn't call them Mexican. They'd just say no Spanish people. Vickery Park, too,
Really?
off of Greenville.
Yeah.
And we experienced it. We had to go to Lake Cliff, downtown Dallas, in Lake Cliff, Oak Cliff.
So I've got you here, and we're talking about this. As a young person, how did that feel?
I didn't know the difference because I was just living the life, and I just followed my daddy. He would just wink at me. This is all going to pass. He used to tell me, these people are ignorant. And when you see things like that, just blow them off because people are good. And they are. Mm-hmm. They are. And we never did pay much attention to that. And
You're too busy trying to make a living.
well, trying to survive. My friend, he was blind, and my mama was working in a restaurant making $40 a week.
Yeah. So your dad, so he was the most influential person in your
In
life.
the music and in my life, I think he was. My mama was the one that kept us all together. She was the one that set the rules and kept us.
Kept the glue together.
But my dad and he taught me how to do things, I only have a 10th grade education. And I'm self-taught in music. I've done it all. I've done everything in music there is to do. I've had big orchestras. I played the Mayor Ball International with an orchestra. I've done it all.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go back. So you learn how to. Is this a true story that there's a picture at El Phoenix?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
There's a picture. A lot of the El Phoenix restaurant. If you go into toward the back, there's a picture called the Trio, and it's not a trio. It's a 5-piece band. And one of my first mentors that I started playing with was Joe Azcona, Azcona. He was a tropical singer, troubadour type guy, and he had a little band. And I played with this band at El Phoenix on McKinney, way back. And they took a picture of that with all the old pictures of and we're in that picture. I was 17 years old next to him.
Now, have they reproduced that picture and put it in other stores too, or just in that one?
It's in a lot of them. It's in most of the 80% of them. You'll see it.
Yeah, somebody told me about it, so they had seen it.
Well, somebody took a picture of it and made me a big portrait of it and brought it to me, Don and Philip.
Yeah.
And they gave it to me as a birthday gift. It was so nice.
I think that's who told me. They must have told me about
and
that.
They recreated it and brought it to me and unwrapped it, and there it was. It's very special. Here recently, last year, we had a reunion of Hispanics that have been, known in the community for and I've been known in the community for my music and for, doing a lot of things. But they featured for a month or 2 months the Hispanic musicians and the culture at the old Latino Culture on Live Oak. Mm-hmm. So they put pictures of all the old music and all the old music. And the one that came in that we went to school with was Trini Lopez.
Oh, really?
Trini Lopez went to high school with us.
Is that right?
Crozier Tech. So did Sam DeSham,
Yeah.
Willie
Right.
Bully. He went to Crozier Tech.
I didn't know that.
He came in. They all came in, and then they took my picture. They came to Three Forks, took some pictures, and they also interviewed us. And a bunch of other, people that played. And then they put on the Friday Guide, they put me in 1975 sitting on top of a little marimba, because I play marimba and vibes, and I had my little trio. And they put that a living icon or edge on the guide, and it's I have to show that to you. I have it. I'll bring it to you.
Sure.
And then they also wrote a story about me in the Dallas Morning News about doing the movie.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and how that came about, and how the agent came and found me, and what it was about. It's been a real.
Where was, just a side question, and I don't know where this is coming from. There's something in my mind. Trini Lopez, where was he born?
He was born here in Dallas.
He was born in Dallas.
He went to St. Anne's down on downtown school. I went to St. Anne's. Then we moved from St. Anne's to public school. I went to Cumberland, where the Fairmont is. There's a building there was redone. That was our school.
Really?
Then we went to Crozier Tech, which was on Bryan, that old building down there. He went there too. And Trini Lopez was born on Caroline Street.
Where you lived?
Yeah, 3 blocks from where I lived. I lived on Harry Hines. He was on Caroline. And I've got a picture somewhere where Trini Lopez's mother was bathing him in a tub outside. Trini Lopez was very, very focused on what he wanted to do.
Knew what he wanted to do.
He knew, and he followed He stayed focused.
Yeah.
And
he was very famous. Very famous.
Very famous.
I mean, there are those of us of a certain age that still, of course, he was in the 60s. He was a big deal in the 60s.
Big deal. Well, he made that movie,
Yeah.
About what was it? The 12 guys that went in. What was that movie? The Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen.
He was.
He was in that movie, very
prominent. About 3 or 4 movies, and he made a lot of big cuts. And he was associated with Sinatra and the Red Pack for a while. He was in that groove.
He was definitely a Vegas guy.
But he was. Yeah, he was. I saw him in Vegas, and met him again in Vegas. Mm-hmm. But him and his brother, very good entertainer, Jesse.
Yes, I remember that.
And when we was in high school, he used to always be in plays and singing in high school, in grammar school, and then he started his little band in high school, and he had the Crozier Tech.
Did he not? Am I wrong about this? Did he not play a smaller guitar?
He played a guitar, electric guitar, and he played a smaller one. Yeah, he played acoustic too.
Yeah.
But Trini was very talented all along.
I've seen publicity shots from back then.
And when he was in high school, well, all those shots came back to this tribute that we did for Hispanic musicians last year, and they put me on the paper on that one, and they came to Three Forks and took pictures of me playing there.
That's cool.
And they put it on the screen. Mm-hmm. We had a viewing. A lot of people came to the Culture Center. We had all that on. And we were also interviewed there along with a bunch of other entertainers.
I would love sometime, I've thought about this quite a bit, I'd love sometime to get a camera crew to come in and really film you guys playing. They're at Three Forks. I don't know as much about Table 13, although it's on my list.
Table 13 is a good restaurant. It's very nice, and they've been real nice to me. It's a little louder bar. Mm-hmm. It's positioned in a long entrance bar on the right of the dining room, and I'm way in the back, and the entertainers are in the back, kind of. But it's a very strange place because the acoustics there, are different. They're all over the house, but we're centered in the back. Over here at 3/4, you walk in, that's the first thing you see is a band. Right in there.
Yeah.
And the bar to the left and right. How you,
Sure.
Well, you frequent the bar a couple of times. You should know that bar. You should own it.
I should. Well, I bought the front doors. The stained glass doors.
Always glad to see you. And then Gloria said, well, there's Mike. There's Mike. There's Mike.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Gloria, what year did you meet Gloria?
I met Gloria when we were like 14 years old. She was 12, believe it or not. And then I was 15. She was 13. It took me... I met her, where Nick and Sam's is on?
Sure.
There was an old theater called the Pan American Theater.
Mm-hmm.
It was all Mexican shows, Mexican movies, and comedians, everything. And it was all black. And she used to live right on Fairmount, right behind it. And I would walk over there, and I'd hang out with my buddies, all the little gang Pachuco type guys, would sing on the wall. And she would pass by the wall with her friend all the time. And I looked at her, but said, I don't have a chance with her. She's from the other side of the tracks, and she's a real prissy girl,
Yeah.
Well, you know how Gloria looks. That's the way she looked when she was young.
She looks like a doll all the time.
Well, that's the way she was when she was in school.
Yep.
Always immaculately dressed, everything, real proper. And I was from the other side of the tracks, you know.
You were no good.
I know. and she was there, so I walked over one time to talk to her friend. Because I knew her friend. I said, how you doing, Helen? You say, how you doing? And Gloria looks up at me, rolls her eyes a little bit. And she says...
I've seen her do that.
And she says, well, you can sit here if you want to. Uh-oh. That's next to her.
Yeah.
And she never had said that. And I talked to her, and I saw her for weeks before. So that was it. I never stood on the wall again. But it took me 2 weeks to walk her home for a block and a half by herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Took me that long, and then it took me another 2 weeks to walk her home by myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real... And I used to go see her at the house, and the train would run by the old Riversham Park, the old railroad goes up there.
Absolutely.
By Carlisle, by the mansion and all of that.
Sure.
Bingo. It would come out, and she'd run me off. Your mother would come out. Okay, the train's 9 o'clock. You got to go. I'd go. But I'd always grab that little kiss all the way down the door,
Yeah.
That was amazing. It's magical. Then we went to grammar school together, to high school. All through high school together, and then all of that. Then we got married later on. But I've been married to Gloria 59 years. Can you believe that? And I went with her before we married, like 6 years we were together before that.
You're together 65 years.
Probably.
That's amazing.
We were little kids.
That's amazing. You guys are just awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
It's fun for me to watch you guys because she'll come and I'm not kidding. She's a doll. And she likes her clothes. She likes
her rings.
She likes her
shoes
rings.
Match the bad. Everything matches.
She looks like $1 million, $2 million every time she comes in. But she sits there and watches you, and you think about that long of a relationship.
But I always ask her to come in too. When she doesn't come in, and you didn't come in, you know what about Gloria though? She walks in. And I'm chopped liver. I'm playing there, and everybody wants to know where Gloria is. Yeah. Is Gloria coming tonight?
Well, hey.
What are we?
Hey.
You asked me, is Gloria coming tonight? Everybody at the bar.
Yeah.
Hey,
of course.
Where's Gloria? Then the customers that come in the restaurant for so many years, because I've been there 18 years.
Yeah.
And Gloria has to walk.
I've been there for 18 years.
Gloria has to come in and work the room because there's so many people we know for so many years, and they all want to see Gloria. They like my music, but
we do.
But she's got this magnet about her and the way she treats people. Yeah. She's high class, presents herself that way, but she's also loves the girl in the kitchen that washes the forks and comes out. She greets her like she's a queen. Yeah. And she makes her night. She goes, Gloria, ¿cómo está? She talks to her in Spanish, and she just grabs her hand and says, how are you? And they show her rings. You look so beautiful. And they talk like, that's the way Gloria is.
Yeah. Now, clarify this. We talked about El Phoenix. Of course, I don't know if you've heard this. Now, I'm talking about the one that's kind of downtown,
right?
The one that's there now. My understanding is it's for sale, and they're looking at selling it right now, selling that property. It's pretty controversial.
I don't know about the property. I know that the El Phoenix Corporation sold out a couple of years ago.
Well, they're talking. This is this is a kind of a controversial discussion because there are people that are concerned that the new buyers may do something with the land, and so there's something going on, and there's some groups that are wanting to make that
preserve it
historical.
like they did the Crozier Tech building,
correct,
like the Cumberland Hills.
Yep.
Now, Phoenix, when they started, they were not at that property; they were across the street. Mm-hmm. But that property has also got the Icon family, the Luna family, Tortillas, which was there from the 30s or late 20s. Mm-hmm. And that was a landmark in Dallas. Every time you see Channel 13 or anything about the country of the Little Mexico, you'll always see El Phoenix and the Luna, the Martinez and the Luna family come by. Mm-hmm. My mother got interviewed also for that, and they showed a picture of me with Josco and some of the old players. But the Luna family and that's in the same connection, that whole building. Now the Luna family is where that Miko Maya is down there now, right around El Phoenix. Mm-hmm. They brought that, but it's changed a lot. But they're trying to preserve that. But I don't know much about the politics.
Well, I don't know the details. I just heard some grumblings around. Yeah, of course, you hear a lot of things, but that always, anytime it affects what I consider a landmark. Because it's a landmark.
It's a landmark.
Yeah.
That's a landmark.
It's hard for me to see all the old buildings go away. Because, we live in this society now where they have built a building for 20 years and then tear it down and build something else.
I know. Well, right around there was Hernandez Grocery. That's another icon. That's been there since, my God, when I was born. And all of it's gone. The whole neighborhood, Little Mexico, it's all now uptown.
Yep.
Bookout, Pearl Street, and all those streets are now these little condos, real high-dollar condos.
Sure.
And the lady said, "You know where Bookout Street is?" Just I played a little job for a doctor friend of mine. They're private. I live in Uptown, and I'm in a place on Bookout. You know where Bookout is? Bookout. That's my stomping ground. I was born right there. Hines Payne, all those streets were Little Mexico. I used to pull my daddy around there.
That's wild.
And I got some stories about my daddy. My daddy, way back when I used to walk him, and this is very close to my heart because he kind of guided me on the music. He used to tell me, he used to touch my hands and my head and my face, and he said, "You're going to be my piano player." Because we had an old piano somebody gave us. Nobody would say, "Not me, I ain't playing no piano." You know how it was. Mm-hmm. I was a thug. I was, Mm-hmm. But he told me, the notes just go up a full step, la la la, or they go off when you hear a black one, da da, half notes, and that's all they do. And he used to sit down and play 2-finger piano, and he'd play a little bit of guitar. He could play a little bit, but anything he touched, he could do.
He could do it.
We built a driveway in our old home in Little Mexico at the age of 7, and my brothers, the little brothers, with his eyes guiding us, because he knew how to do it. We built the whole driveway with him telling us, "Okay, run the string like this. Now you nail the board like this." "Well, how do you do that?" "Let me show you. Get the nail." And he'd nail it and show us. "Now go do the form." We'd do the form. And he'd pour the concrete, because he was master at concrete. That's what he did.
Sure.
So, bungo. And he said, "Now level it. Now make sure that the level has the drop in the middle." We were his eyes.
He knew exactly what he wanted.
And he was focused on what he was doing.
He had vision. He could see it.
He could see it.
Yeah.
He said, "This looks good." How do you know it looks good? This looks good. And it did look good. And we did it with his eyes. But I got sidetracked. My daddy, when I was playing music, he inspired me a lot to do it. Mm-hmm. And then Gloria, bless her heart, I started playing when I was real young. And she was my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then we got married, and I was playing full time. A lot of times it's real hard. And what I love about Gloria, I owe it all to her, because she allowed me to have that life. Mm-hmm. You can imagine a lot of young Hispanic couples going up and say, "Hey, I'm going to start playing in hotels and clubs." You're not playing anywhere. You're staying here, A lot of jealous. Gloria knew that I loved music and the passion for it. She let me have that. And she supported that. Mm-hmm.
And she still does.
She still does.
It's amazing.
She's my best critic. Sometimes I sing this, and I'm at Three Forks, and I'm playing some music. Says, "You rehearse at home, you perform here." I said, "I'm sorry. I was just showing Billy something."
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm learning the word. She says, "I need to talk to you. What? That song you sang, you sound terrible." What are you're not, it sounded terrible. Either don't do it or do it right, but I ask her, she'll tell me.
Yeah.
And what about that song, You Suck? I said, what? Yeah, you suck when you didn't do it right. And she's my best critic. When I do a dance or somewhere when I need sound check,
right.
I send Gloria out in the crowd because she'll tell me who's what to do. Mm-hmm. Forget the engineers that are running sound. I said, you listen to her because she knows. Yep. She knows exactly what I need to sound like.
Well, she's only had 60 years to practice.
Well, I know, but getting back to my dad, there's a story. Mm-hmm. I used to play at the Mansion on Turtle Creek when it was a 5-star hotel. Mm-hmm. The best hotel in the world for years.
What year would this be?
That was 97. Okay. I went in there 97, and there, it's changed now. Now it's it's a fraternity party over there. People come in shirts and jeans and stuff. In those days, you had to wear a suit and tie, and you had to go into dance.
Oh, I remember.
And I had to wear tuxedos to play there, but it was one of the most prestigious jobs in Dallas.
Of course.
And I got the job. My wife said, Mark Carroll, who's a great singer friend, is going to move to Florida. He said, they're looking for a leader, piano player, singer. So, really? And Gloria said, you need to go talk to those people or give them your name. So I called, and then the one that backed me up were the Martinez family from El Phoenix, Ruben and Donna. And those days, Ruben's passed away, but Donna and him were very active in the Opera Guild and the society in Dallas, and they were always there with it. And he called. Listen to this guy, he's good. And I put my name in. That helped me. So I had an audition. I had an audition for 3 people at the Mansion to get that job.
Right.
The story goes back to when I was 7. Think about this. I'm pulling my dad, and the Mansion was a mansion in those days. Mm-hmm. There was a mansion there, and we got distracted walking on Carlisle, so we went on down to Turtle Creek. And he says, what are we doing down here? I said, well, there's a big home. Well, let's go sell him something there. We maybe sell something here. So I went up there on the driveway, and the guy comes out and says, excuse me, you're not allowed here. You rent us off. Okay? Mm-hmm. And there was a little driveway that's still there because they built the building around the whole property. Mm-hmm. There's a window, and part of the hotel was left on the first level. And when I went to audition, there was the driveway and the window when I was 7 that they rent us off of.
Wow. Yeah, you couldn't be there back then. Now you're going
and
in wearing
I never
a
set
tuxedo.
foot at the Mansion till they called me for that day. Cause I played one job in the ballroom, but I'd never been to the club. Mm-hmm. And when I called me to audition, I went over there, and I was supposed to play an hour, so I played New York, whatever. They fly me to the moon. Well, okay, blah, blah, blah. And, you also sing in Spanish? Yes. A little Brazilian, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's okay. After 10 minutes, okay, you got the job. Mr. Munoz, let's go introduce you to your band. Okay. My band, okay. And then I looked at the window, and I remembered.
The window.
And my daddy, me. And I said to him, we're in. But we're not selling. We're selling music now, Dad.
Yeah.
But it was a special moment. And the guy asked me, why are you grinning? I was grinning because I was looking at the window, and I remembered.
Seeing your dad.
And I told him, I just talked to my dad. What do you mean your dad? The guy was just laughing, the maitre d' or whoever it was. Mm-hmm. It's just something that
Of course.
And it was very special to me because we got in.
Still is.
We got in. And I remembered that window. I said, but we're selling music this time.
Yeah.
And it's very special to me, and I tell that story a lot. I told it at they had a Crozier Tech reunion with a bunch of people, and they asked me to repeat that or tell them the story because somebody knew about it. He said, tell us that story about your dad, and they wanted me to tell it. It was very special. My daddy was amazing. One time we were out there in the old neighborhood selling, and we'd go to all these little stores, and they had little beer gardens. Mm-hmm. And my mom, keep him away from those beer gardens because he starts talking politics and about the revolution, and he loved Roosevelt and this country. Yeah. He was a true lover of this country. And there was a lot of communism trying to infiltrate in those days in the Hispanic community. Mm. There was a lot of communist people doing propaganda about the USA with the Hispanics. And they would come to meetings, and they would come talk to us.
Interesting.
And my daddy used to battle those people all the time. Believe it or not, we were at this place one time, and he started drinking and talking about, and Mr. Munoz is going to have the word, so they'd all go talk. We made $15 that night, and it took us about 4 hours. And that's a lot of money for, two people to be out. We had the $15. We were going
Back
home.
then.
Yeah. So we're going home with the $15. So what does he do? He buys the beer for everybody. And I thought, Dad, what are you doing? Somebody going to tell Mom, look, we took the money, you took it all. She told me not to give you the money to carry, bring it home. And here you took the money. I gave it to you to put in your pocket, and you bought drinks for everybody. And he looks at me and says, yeah, but what a gesture. That was him.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I can see.
He owned the room.
He owned the room.
Yep.
And I can see where he was coming from and what it was. He said, what a gesture.
Nice.
Mr. Munoz. That's my dad.
So when did he pass?
He passed in, 68, 70, in 70, 71 he passed. But my daddy passed because he got real ill. He drank a lot and smoked a lot.
Yeah.
That's what got him.
Yeah.
But he was amazing. He loved opera, and he loved the USA, and he loved Roosevelt.
Interesting.
He once got in a fight, blind, in one of those beer gardens with one of those communist guys. He was talking bad about Roosevelt in this country. He had us snowed. All you Hispanics are ignorant because he's got you snowed. And that was it. He flew in him, hit him, and then he grabbed me because I only weighed nothing. I was a little shrimp, and he was killing me. He hit me by the neck, and he was looking for him with his cane. And they were getting me off of him, because he was killing me.
Yeah.
I got home, and I had bruises all over my neck, and boy, my mama got all over him. And said, look what you did. You go to the big, look what you did. Look at this boy. And he would just, I said, what did he do? I said, he got in a fight. Yeah. You got in a fight, you silly old blind guy. You crazy man. Think about it.
Yeah, he did it for his country.
That was his passion.
Yeah.
You don't speak about this country in Roosevelt or anything about he was a very, very.
So let's transition. You learned a lot about passion for the United States through your father.
Well, I'm not that passionate about the United States. I'm a supporter of the Constitution and everything, and I'm a very patriot. But I didn't learn it from him. I learned it from the opportunities that I've had. Mm-hmm. This country is the greatest country in the world, and I believe it because I lived it. Mm-hmm. I got a 10th grade education coming from a family of 11 with a blind father.
Right.
And how we survived and how we were able to, and what we had to do to survive. And It was there for you. Just get off your ass and go get it.
Yep.
And that's what he taught us. And it's this way today.
That's true. But a lot of people don't understand that.
They will never understand that because now we become a country of entitlements. What do you do for me? And they forgot. My mama in the World War II used to sew uniforms for the soldiers. Mm-hmm. She used to volunteer to sew uniforms for the soldiers.
Right.
We had war bonds then.
Sure.
Remember war bonds?
Sure.
Tried to sell them today.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Tried it. And, a lot of people, Hispanics, I'm a Trump supporter.
But think about this. Think about the difference between what Hollywood represented then and now. Look at the actors and how
they went to war, how the movies they did. They all went to war themselves. They want to talk about it.
And they all sold war bonds.
Yeah, but not only that. But look at today at Hollywood.
Yeah.
Look at today. It's real easy to get up there and criticize, and not live it or do anything about it, but just criticize and politicize the whole thing. I'm a Republican. I think I'm conservative, but if you show me a good Democrat, I'll vote for him if he's good.
Yeah. You vote for the person.
I'll vote for the person, but I've got to support. He's got to be
conservative.
He's got to the Constitution's got to be protected and all our rights. And
you mentioned you're a Trump supporter.
I'm a Trump supporter. I get a lot of bad feelings. I went to a meeting one time with some people, and right before the election, or right after it. How many of you are voted for? Well, number two, they were already demonizing us for that. The guy goes to me, the priest, how can you, in front of God, he tells me this, a priest, How can you, in front of God watching you, vote for a man, horrible man like that does that to all these? And note we had all those caravans coming, bus loads. Remember the caravans?
Sure.
The buses loads that were coming in. And I looked at him. It's very easy. How can I vote for Trump? I vote as an American. You forgot that. It's very easy to vote for him. You vote for your country. You look at your country. Mexico's corrupt. Mexico's it's horrible down there what they're doing. I have insights talking to people from Honduras and Guatemala, and the things they tell me is appalling. What the people think. They got people that are coming. They know they're coming. They're playing the game. You know what they say? And that really boils me. Said, just get across. Because Americans are so stupid with their bureaucracy. In 6 months, you'll have your own business in America. You'll have your own taqueria or whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And they're so dumb that they don't. All you got to do is play the game and get across.
Just show up.
Show up and get across. And let them play their stupid games they do with their lawyers. You'll have a lawyer representing you. You'll have everything you need. And you get out of the desert, they'll be giving you food, medicine.
Everything.
The border people are giving diapers. They're bringing their gifts from their own families to give these people.
Yeah.
And here we are demonizing them.
Yeah. No, I understand. I follow politics quite well.
I do too.
Yeah, I know you do. You and I've had that conversation.
I'm very passionate and very adamant about that, but I get a lot of them.
I know. Well, we could talk about this for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go over to the early 60s.
Early 60s. Where was I? Early 60s, I was playing. Oh, my heavens. I started playing a lot in the clubs in the 60s because we were working like 6 nights a week in those days. There was a lot of music.
Mm-hmm. A lot of live music.
A lot of live music because there was at least 50 or 60 venues with entertainment every night, every holiday, and every Ramada, and
everybody had a band of some
size.
size.
Now, you don't find live entertainment hardly anywhere. Mm. And it's caused mostly by, I blame the musicians. They all blame disco and this, but I don't. I blame the musicians. They forgot to go sell music. Mm-hmm. They forgot to go sell their craft. And what happened, because a lot of guys tell me, well, what happened to music? I said, you guys happened. I said, when was the last time you came out of North Texas and you learned all this music, how to improv, how to play? Did they teach you how to sell your craft? No. Did they teach you how to put on a suit and go in front of people and sell live music? No. That's where they lose it. They don't have a course for that.
Yeah. It was always great. The live venues. I love live
everywhere.
Venues. Well, in not just in the cities, but I mean, in every Holiday Inn on the road would have 2 or 3 people playing, maybe a 4-piece, 5-piece band.
Well, in those days, you also had the Venetian Room with live entertainment,
which is awesome.
They had Peggy Lee, they had Johnny Mathis, they had every big acts every night. They had the Adolphus had downstairs Joe Reisman and the orchestra playing with the orchestra, dinner, dancing, and show every night. The Mural Room at the Baker Hotel had Tony Bennett. They had big bands, and every place had a venue. I was playing all over the place. Yeah. And now we can't get them to sell live music, and it's all getting into techno music, all this new techno music. It's just... I've seen bands that come in 3 people and they sound like 10-piece bands, and I've seen rock groups that don't even play. They just tape everything, sequence everything, and they just do the movement.
Yeah.
And collect
ridiculous money.
But that's the way it is, and that's what music become. Go to Vegas and see what's going on.
I was getting ready to bring up Vegas. I was actually in Vegas when the transition happened. Of course, they blamed it on the union. You know, the union was the players' union. They were making demands. And you know how that doesn't always go over really well, which is kind of interesting when you think about unions in Las Vegas and how Las Vegas used to be. Let's talk about the Carousel Club.
Okay, when I was in '63, I was playing for Jack Ruby at the Carousel right before he shot Oswald. I left 6 days before that happened, in fact. And I went to play at another place. And Dude, the drummer that works with me, he worked for Jack Ruby at the Vegas Club on Oak Lawn because he owned the Vegas, Oak Lawn and Maple.
Yeah.
And I think Trini Lopez played there in the old days, and a lot of people did. And I was downtown with Jack Ruby, and it was a private club. You had to be a member. In those days, you couldn't buy drinks over the bar. You had to go. They had the private.
You had
club
to join.
law.
You had to join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I remember that. I remember having to pay for a membership to have a drink.
So in downtown, everything in those days was downtown. All the clubs, all the entertainment, you get dressed, you go downtown on Commerce. You'd go to the baker, the hotel, everything was downtown. The club, the restaurants, everything was on Commerce, Akron, on all of that area.
It was the draw. It was the draw. Everybody had to go downtown.
And we all got tuxedos and went downtown. And I was playing at the Carousel upstairs. And I used to play the strip shows. I was 23, maybe. I don't remember how. Real young guy.
The burlesque shows.
I had black hair, and I'm doing. And I go up there, and this girl comes out on this. They call it burlesque. Mm-hmm. Long piano and a long stage, a piano. And she came out the first time. I said, "Okay, Jack Ruby says, so you're going to play for the strip show? Well, just play. This is what you want." Okay, so I played.
Was that? Were you talking about? Are you talking about back when Candy Bar was playing?
Yes, Candy Bar was at the Colony. The Weinstein brothers. They had two theater. They had the Theater Lounge and the Colony. Candy Bar was at the Colony, and Chris Colt with the 45s.
Yeah,
the dress with the 45 guns.
Yeah,
the 45. She was at the Theater Lounge. They were headliners, and then he had his own. And in those things, burlesque was the thing, you know.
Sure.
So the girl would come out with the feathers, real beautiful, with a white gown, and start taking the feathers and doing the music, and then she'd completely get naked, right in front of me. So the first day my eyes would pop, I told my wife, she took all her clothes off. 2 or 3 days later, they wouldn't care. I just wanted to get the gig out of the way, you know.
Yeah.
It gets old.
Yeah.
I played at the Colony Club, and the strippers come out, and they've had a little curtain that you could see through, so you could see the dance movements. And I played
kind of a shadow.
Yeah, and I played there a couple of times, and I saw Candy Bar a couple of times, you know.
Yeah. She was iconic. Everybody knew her.
And I was real young, but real naive. So I was playing, I just wanted the gig. Because, you know, I'm trying to buy a home. I'm working day and night. And I got my first child, and I was just my first son. And all I was focused on was making money, baby. And it wasn't paying much money, but we were working very hard. And sure enough, it was a different ball game then, the music industry.
Sure.
And it's gone down, We there's a lot of new venues and restaurants, but nobody sells them music, and some of them would probably do it if they ever tried it. If somebody would convince them, you need to try.
Sounds like somebody needs to become an agent and
focus. There are agents,
but focus on
small venues that start groups. You know, Three Forks, when we got there, I got there a year after they opened. They had a country western guitar player there. That's what they had in the front there.
Yeah.
So Gene Street saw me at Albanese on a private party, and he had seen me at the mansion. And he tell the guy to come talk to me. I got this new place called Three Forks that I just got for the CRO Corporation. Dale Wamstead built it.
Yes.
You know, Dale Wamstead built Del Frisco's, and he built Texas and the whole shopping center out there.
Yeah.
That's Dale. Another character, another story. And Gene Street was a character, another story, because I knew Gene Street back before he did the Black Eyed Pea. I knew him way back.
Yeah.
So, great guy.
But you know, they just had their big anniversary at Three Forks, you know, last year.
Yeah.
Or I guess it was towards the end of last year.
He was there.
Yeah. Oh,
he was there. Dale was there. They were all there, the whole gang. I was playing up there.
I didn't get a photo with Dale, but I did because he was in and out. He didn't stay very long. But I did get with Gene, because I've known Gene.
Gene is amazing. He's the one that brought me, and Dale's the one that kept me there.
Yeah.
Both of them. Then Gene sold the corporation.
Yeah.
And then he got out, you know, and then they got new people. But we're still there. And the music business is, I wish to see it back to where we can get more venues for people. There's a lot of good talent out there, but no place to play.
Yeah.
We have the type of, you know what we do at the kind of music I bring at Three Forks. It's different. I bring the All American Songbook. And I sell. That's what I sell. And people like it of all ages.
People love it.
And I'm not, going to do Elton John. I'm not, that's not.
So I want you to tell them, because of course I know what you play, but tell them kind of a mixed bag of course you're going to play Sinatra and you do a fantastic job. I mean, look, I can tell you this. I don't go to Three Forks just to have a drink. Okay? I could do that anywhere. You go to a place where you are entertained, and the time that you spend there makes you feel good. Because I work all the time, and I fly all the time.
I know, you're always traveling.
And so when I do get home, and I'm one of those nervous types too. I don't sit well. I don't like just sitting at home on a sofa watching TV, and that's just not my bag. I love to be around people. I don't have any of the musical talent, but I have all the interest in being around people.
Yeah.
It's a people thing. So tell them some of the other types of music you play.
Well, we have also a salsa group, Latin group, because I do Latin music. I started in Latin music. My career in music started at El Phoenix in Casa Linda. Think about it, back in 57, 56. One time I was working as a busboy there, and the Martinez family from there have been wonderful to us. We know all the family, all of them. And I was working there for Gilbert, one of the brothers, and Mike Jr. And I was working as a busboy, waiter, both trying to be a waiter. And this guy comes over, and they had a little trio every night. And the piano player, for some reason, disappeared or got drunk or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they told me, well, we don't have a piano player. And one of the guys says, this guy plays. He pointed at me. I said, well, no, I'm not professional. I'm just starting out. I just know some tunes, but I don't get over there. So I started playing. The guy, and I was playing, and they liked what I did, but they struggled with me a little bit. The guy said, you're good and all that, but if you can learn 10 songs next week, besides, very limited liberty, but you just give me 10 more songs, you got this gig every night. I learned 20.
You had to go to work.
I learned 20. Quick. Because I play by ear, and I'll just listen to all the records. Bing.
Have you ever read music?
Never. I'm self-taught. I started playing the piano, one note here, then I started doing 2-chord things, and I bought 3, then it became, and I wouldn't even know what the notes I was playing. I had to go buy a book that had the hands and the notes on the hands showing the notes where they were on the piano. But I started playing before I even knew what a lot of the notes were.
Yeah. Well, that's the way a lot of people have learned the
And
guitar.
the guy would ask me, what key are you playing? F? I said, I don't know. What's this? Oh, you're playing that in C. You're playing that in G. You didn't know that? I said, no, but I'm playing it. But can you play it in F? Because I sing it in F. Okay, one lower. So I started looking one lower. And I just wrote.
Just had to learn it.
Well, A flat. I wrote the notes, but with letters. And then I started writing chords with loaded, and I memorized them. And then my ear took over, and then bingo, I got them. To this day, I'm still doing that.
Well, you're on autopilot now.
But if I show you some of my music that I've written, it's on a computer. I'll play it, and the computer writes it all out for me, transposes it, does everything.
Wow.
And I've got some tunes that I've written. And I used to arrange for an orchestra, some arrangements.
So I want to make sure I cover as much as I can. And we've still got some time because we start a little bit later. Back to Jack Ruby. So the deal goes down. He shoots Oswald. What was Dallas like at that moment when the Kennedy
It was real
assassination?
dark. Everybody closed. I was working downtown. I was working as a linotype operator back in those days at Taylor Publishing.
Really?
Yeah, I was setting type.
Okay.
With the old linotype, remember? The old hot metal.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, just so you know, when I was in high school, I was a journalism major.
Really?
And I was the editor of the yearbook, and Taylor was our company.
Well.
And they tried to hire me as a speaker. Now, this is right out of high school.
Oh, my Lord.
I came to Dallas. I interviewed with them. They wanted me to become a seminar instructor on how to do yearbooks. And that was my first love, other than I had a love for radio, and I was working in auctions. I'd been working auctions for 2 years.
Yeah, I was over there when they moved.
They made the offer. They offered me in the late 70s. They offered me $900 a month and a car and an expense account to take that job.
Oh.
And I had one auction job, and it was paying me $100 for 3 days. But they were offering me $900 for the month, and the deal was if I did these seminars for a couple of years, then they would give me a territory, and I would have the yearbook sales, and I would have the Balfour ring sales.
Oh, the Balfour ring. I remember those.
So I passed on because I had a lot of friends that were big up in the chain.
Yeah, I remember those,
they said the only thing that we're going to require you to do, because you're young, is we still want you to go back to college and get your degree, because nobody in this level of work at Taylor Publishing in Dallas doesn't have a degree.
Yeah, I used to work in the line until we used to set type for those yearbooks.
That is something. So we have a connection there.
Yeah, we do. And
so it was a dark day in Dallas.
Oh, yes, it was a dark day that day because we were setting type, and when the news came out, all the machines turned off. And we said, well, this happened, and everybody's in shock. We were all, oh, my God, I can't believe it. Nah, you're kidding. Really? We just saw, a lot of people saw him on Love Field, right off of Dead Drive, getting off of Love Field. You know, Dead Drive, and right there's a Love Field.
That's where the
plane was. And we were
was.
on Dead Drive.
That's where the plane was, right there.
Right? Mm-hmm. We were about what? From Taylor Publishing on Denton Drive. We were
close.
Blocks, couple of blocks.
Yeah, about 2 blocks.
So where he landed, a lot of people from Taylor went over there, and then a lot of people were getting back to work to go see the president come in, and then bingo, it happened, like on the way. And we couldn't believe it, so it got real quiet. We all turned our machines down. And the guy said, let's turn the machines off for a minute. This has happened. Let's do it in memory of what happened. It's a dark day. The owner came out and talked to all employees. So we just turned all the machines and just did silence. Just think about it. Then it all went quiet. Then nobody worked. The guy says, we're going home. We just keep the typesetters all up. So let's just call it. We closed for 2 days. That day, then the next day we didn't play. And all the rock stations, all KVIL, all KLIF, all the stations were playing nothing but classical music.
Really?
For 4 days. The whole city just
shut down.
Gloria worked for a law firm downtown, Vile Hamilton, Coke and Tub. And they just, real dark, all the lawyers, the judges, everything went
quiet.
The churches got full.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody went to church, and there was a lot of tension too between people that they just kind of came together. I had buddies I didn't get along with over there. They didn't like them. Then we looked at it. Hey man, it's a bad thing that happened. Then we focused away from. We didn't like each other, and we just talked. Hey man, you believe this is happening? I had a guy who hated Hispanics, and I knew he did. He was a real racist, and he worked there. And he came to me and says, man, he told me, it's a bad day, isn't it, amigo? I said, yeah. And he says, well, so I'm going to go home. I'm going to go pray. I'm going to go to church. He says, you ought to do the same thing. I'll see you tomorrow. He never hardly ever talked to me. But for that moment, connected because of the tragedy. It brought people together.
Yeah.
But it was a very, very dark day. I remember how quiet everything was, and then the craziness after the craziness. The next day or two after they arrested him, there comes Ruby. Another story, another crazy right on TV. I couldn't believe I was seeing that. I had just talked to Jack Ruby.
What do you think? What do you think? You're the closest connection I got.
No, but I've been in interviews before about that. There were several people. Russ, what's his name, had the program. He used to come to Three Forks all the way.
Martin.
Russ Martin. He was always there. Yeah. Russ Martin's show. I was on there, sang Christmas stuff, and we talked about it. But I told Russ that my belief is that I think it was the mob because of what Kennedy did. If you think about it, Joe Kennedy was going to put his sons in politics no matter what. He ran the mob in the show, influence. Then comes the mob, and all that stuff. Then comes the Cubans. They blamed it Castro, the CIA. They blamed it on Johnson. They blamed everybody. They didn't know. The Warren Commission sent out investigations, on it. but I think it was a hoax. The closest guy to it was a guy down there, this DA in New Orleans. What was his name? The DA.
Garrison.
He's the one that had it nailed, but they shut him down. They didn't process. They refused to do it, like everything else that they do. He had it. He had the proof. He had everything. And I suspect that it was the mob, because they went after the Teamsters. His brother.
Oh, I know.
Caused it.
Yeah.
And I think
Robert. When Robert went after the mob.
That was it. Because they put John in.
Correct.
Think about it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And then he goes right after them to make his name.
Yeah. And it was crazy. It was crazy.
It's crazy.
Well.
And then they got all this speculation. Well, there's an opportunity where we got Cubans, CIA, Castro.
He gave them plenty of diversions.
A lot of it, so it's perfect. But I don't know about Oswald, but Oswald spent time at the Carousel. And not through me, but other people saw him there. And I saw a lot of people. They were at the Carousel. They're from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And that's a connection, they said. And Jack Ruby was set up. That's why he took. He was a dead man, no matter what.
He had to do it.
I don't know what he owed or what. And I couldn't tell much about what happened because I was asked about it. I couldn't tell much what happened at the Carousel because it was a private club.
You're talking about the Warren Commission?
Yeah.
Yeah, the investigators.
Well, they investigated dude. They called dude.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And there wasn't much that we could contribute because we were entertainers there, and we saw people in there, but we didn't know who these people were. I can just tell you that I used to see the sheriff there all the time, Bill Decker, that big redneck sheriff, and you could also see the DA, Henry Wade. Remember Henry Wade,
Sure.
the Henry Parade?
Sure. Oh, Henry Wade was still in late 80s.
And
I
I could see the old sportscaster that became mayor. What was his name? Wes Wise.
Mm-hmm.
He was always there.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people, but then I see the Campisis there all the time. I see everybody there.
Sure.
They were all connected, my friends and whatever.
Sure.
And when I played for Jimmy Boris, you remember the old Chateaubriand McKinney? You don't remember that, but that was a big place for Jimmy the Greek. I met him there.
I remember Jimmy the Greek.
Well, Jimmy the Greek came to the bandstand and gave me $100 to stop playing, just for the hell of it. I said, just stop playing. I'll give you $100. Okay. Just stop playing for 5 minutes. I said, am I bothering you? No, just do it. Well, he made Jack a bet. He made my boss, Bill, at the Chateaubriand. He made him a bet. And he told him, Jimmy Boris, he made Jimmy Boris a bet. He says, I'm going to tell him to stop playing. And I bet you $100 I'll make him stop playing. No, he plays tunes. You don't interrupt my band. So I went up and stopped playing for Jimmy. He goes, hey, goddammit, stop playing. He comes out, what you stop playing for? Keep playing. What are you playing for? Well, I just got asked to stop. The customer's right. He says, God damn, I just lost $100 because you stopped playing. And you play for me, you work for him. He was a real crazy guy. He was amazing. He was a Greek guy. And you got to understand, I worked for, it was crazy. I cannot imagine how I got, that's another story. Just so many colorful stories about my music.
Sure.
I met Jimmy Boris through Jack. There was a guy named Miller who had a club. He was a bartender, but he was known all over. Later on, he had his own club on Lemon. And all the newscasters were his buddies, and they all went to his place.
Yep.
And he's the one that got me the job with Jimmy Boris. He took me over there. I brought a contract and a picture of me. He took the picture, tore it up, tore the contract. He shook my hand and says, if I tell you got a job, you got a job. It was done with handshakes.
Sweet. We're going to have to wrap because we've used up our time. However, I want to just mention a couple things. Gloria has been with the Tax Appraisal District for many years.
She has, yes.
How long has she been, do you think?
At least 6 years, maybe more.
And she's really good at that. She really enjoys it.
Yeah.
She loves it. So she knows a lot about real estate. She knows about what value on property.
Yeah.
So she and I have a lot of conversations about that. Well, my friend, you've seen it. You've done it. You've lived it.
I know.
You've got the greatest stories, and we could do a series on you. But I want to tell you how much I appreciate you. Anybody that would love to hear some great live music, they need to go to Table 13 on Thursday nights and Three Forks on Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And we love you to death, and I consider you a great friend.
Well,
and
thank
I appreciate
you. Thank you for
being
having me. I enjoyed it.
And I'm glad that you were able to come.
Well,
be
I hope
with
I
us.
answered your question. There's so much, and I just
know.
don't know where to start and where to finish.
Sure. Henry Munoz is a class act that plays great music in Dallas. We want to say thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next time on the Mike McGavel Jones Show. And Henry, we'll see you at Three Forks.
Thank you.
God
See you
bless
then.
everybody. And we bid you adieu from Dallas at Lincoln Center at the corner of the LBJ Freeway and the North Dallas Tollway. Till next time, see ya.